The NHL has a rich history of familial connections. You've probably heard of a few key generational father and son duos, but you probably had no idea of the extent of the family relationships in the NHL. This Wikipedia article takes it to the extreme and details almost 900 family relationships in the NHL. For example, Matt Moulson and Jonathan Quick are related, with Mike Backman being father-in-law to both. Moulson is married to Backman's daughter Alicia, and Quick is married to Backman's daughter Jacqueline. So, yeah. This week we wanted to mix up hockey grace with a bit of grit, so we're going to compare the Howes with the Tkachuks. Let's start with Gordie Howe, who through his incredible career earned the title Mr. Hockey. Howe's career began in the original Six era when the NHL was smaller and the competition was fierce. He played 32 seasons, spanning from the 1940s to the 1980s. Howe was an all-around great player, blending skill, toughness, and an unmatched hockey IQ. He won 4 Stanley Cups with the Detroit Red Wings and 6 Hart trophies. These were serious accomplishments. While Tkachuk may not have earned the same title and accolades as Howe, he had a seriously impactful career. He entered the NHL during the league's post-expansion phase, a time when scoring was declining and physical play was paramount. As one of the premier power forwards, Tkachuk excelled at scoring goals from the dirty areas around the net. Tkachuk was a blend of skill and grit, never shying away from a fight while consistently putting up 30-plus goals per season. Tkachuk became one of only 5 American-born players to score 500-plus goals, and redefined what it meant to be a physical yet skilled scorer. We took a summary of some of their statistics, calculating the average goals, assists, points, penalties, and minutes in games played by season. We then charted the results in the following spider chart. Just from the chart, you can begin to see the ends of the spectrum. For example, Tkachuk is definitely more physical with a much higher average PIM. Howe has better production in terms of average points and average assists, but they're closer when it comes to average goals. Interestingly, their average games played were similar. When we bring the Suns into the picture, things start to get interesting. You begin to see that the Howe and Tkachuk dynasties couldn't be more different. While the Howes represent the pinnacle of skill, longevity, and versatility, the Tkachuks are redefining the modern power forward role, blending physicality with scoring touch. Let's first look at the number of seasons for each player, and keep in mind that Brady and Matthew are active NHL players, so are still active and sure to have a long career yet. The Howe's production is solid. Gordie alone accounted for 2,358 points of the family's 3,819 points, with Mark adding a Hall of Fame-worthy 1,246 from the blue line. Gordie Howe also accrued 2,084 penalty minutes in his career. The Tkachuks, however, are no slouches. Keith's 615 career NHL goals anchor their totals, and both Matthew and Brady are on pace for similar numbers. In fact, when you plot out the average points by season and average points per game, Matthew is remarkably close to Gordie Howe's averages. If the Howes were hockey artists, the Tkachuks are warriors. Keith racked up 2,513 penalty minutes in his career, and his sons have embraced their father's physical style. Matthew has become infamous for mixing it up in scrums, with over 500 penalty minutes and dozens of fights already. Brady, the youngest, is a throwback to the 90s power forward, dominating the front of the net and finishing checks with authority. This last chart is where Keith Tkachuk gives Mr. Hockey a run for his money. That is, while it's all in good to evaluate point production and penalty minutes separately, it's also interesting to see how these two stats converge. This gives you an indication of how grit and goal scoring meet in the middle. Here we had to call out Keith Tkachuk, who has a consistent string of seasons where he had high points per game and high penalty minutes per game. Yeah, a tough guy who can score. Feels like Keith might be reaching back in time and giving Howe a little punch in the soul. Be careful, Keith. You might find an elbow coming your way. Don't forget to hit the subscribe, like, and notification button. And check out datapunkhockey.com for more great hockey and hockey analytics content.